Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rise or Die podcast. This is yours truly, Stephen M. Lowisz for episode 72, Cut the Anchor. So I've been on a little bit of a rant lately. I've been talking about how each area of the core four, body, being, balance, and business, is linked up with one another. I've tried to explain the concept that, if you're doing really shitty in body, it's kind of hard to then go to God and say, hey, God, want to have a relationship? He made you. You're ashamed of you. That's just not a dynamic that's going to work. If you have a bad relationship with essentially yourself at that point, you have a bad relationship with God, how can you then have a good relationship with your wife? And if you're going to war at home and you're ashamed of yourself, so on and so forth, how can you go to war with the marketplace? Well, unless you're a one-dimensional douchebag and you're only focusing on business, you just simply can't. You absolutely can't. And what I realized is that across body, being, balance, and business, we all have an anchor. We have an anchor that we need to cut, an anchor that's keeping us back. Now, if business is what's broken, is it really business, or can you link it back to body, being, or balance? If being is broken, is it really being that's the issue, or is it actually body but is projecting onto being? So it's kind of tough because they do interconnect. They do relate to one another directly. So it's kind of hard to figure out what the actual problem is. So you have to do a little bit of introspection. I do this every Sunday. Every Sunday I look at what happened the previous week and what I want to happen in that next week. And what are the lessons that I need to learn from last week that I can implement into this week? What do I need to do differently? What do I need to enhance? What do I need to keep doing? I do this every single week. And I highly encourage you to as well. But the key thing that I picked up from yesterday's introspection, if you will, is that for me, body's my anchor. It always has been. Like, yeah, I have issues across all four. We all do. I get it. I have $100K in debt. I wouldn't say I have, a 10 out of 10 in marriage. I certainly have a high number. And I wouldn't say my relationship with God is a 10 out of 10. It's better than it has been in a very long time. But I still have work to do. But instead of saying, well, shit, I'm doing bad in being, balance, and business, I actually came to the conclusion that it really comes down to body. I've been carrying extra weight for as long as I can remember. I don't remember a time where I wasn't overweight. And it's sad. I mean, it's not like I'm huge, but it's sad. And it eats away at you. I am a quote-unquote marketing guru, according to some of my clients, because, well, I make them a whole lot of money through my sales and marketing. But what's funny is I don't actually market myself the same way that I do my clients because I don't want to be put out in public because I'm ashamed of where I'm at in body. Think about that for a second. I get paid a whole lot of money to market and sell for others, but I'm not marketing and selling for myself. I'm not. It's kind of being a hypocrite. I'm calling myself out hard this morning. I'm ashamed of myself and where I'm at physically, not just from a looks perspective, because at the end of the day, it's not just about looks. In fact, it's more about weaponization and functional fitness than it is about having a six-pack. I don't give a flying fuck about a six-pack. I do give a flying fuck about losing the 20 pounds I've been trying to for over a year. And you guys have heard me talk about this before, but the reason I'm bringing it back up is because I want to point out how it directly relates to every other area. It's hard to be as confident on the phone or over Skype doing business negotiations when you feel like shit yourself. It's hard to go to God and say, hey, God, I'm not a fan of me. You made me. So, I don't know if that can, if I can even be considered a fan of you, but hey, let's have a relationship. Or, hey, Rachel, my lovely wife, how are you today? I mean, it's hard to be nice when you're embarrassed. It's hard to be nice. It's hard to be kind. It's hard to be compassionate when you're ashamed of yourself. And we all have shame. Like, for me, yeah, right now it's body. Okay, cool. But we all have shame that we carry around across the core four. We all have an area that we need to work on in the core four that would give us power to go across every other area of the core four, where we could launch ourselves forward in business because we're in kick-ass physical shape. So, question that I have for you is, what area, body, being, balance, or business, is your anchor? And what do you need to cut? What area do you need to make some cuts in? For me, it's body. I need to cut that fucking anchor, and the way that I'm going to do it is by actually eating healthier and hitting all my training plans. That I follow a couple training plans for my Ironman training and jiu-jitsu and whatnot. So I'm going to follow those. And I'm going to eat healthier. What do you need to do? What is your anchor, and how are you going to cut it? That's all I have for episode 72. As always, shoot me an email with any questions at steven@invictus.co. As well as, of course, invite a friend to try out the Rise or Die podcast. Do it for them, not for me. Do it for someone that you care about, someone that needs a little kick in the ass every day, just like you get from me. In addition, you can subscribe to some of our exclusive content at riseordiepodcast.com. Talk to you tomorrow for episode 73.